Hello team, and welcome to sprint number 44. We are doing a few things here this week for YakShaver, and just while I'm on the web page, I've just realized that I've made a new video for YakShaver this week, so let's YakShave that immediately. Second. Visualizing, recording. New feature request for YakShaver on the website, yakshaver.ai. You can see it here. We've got my old 6-minute video here. Now this is, was it 16:9 aspect ratio? The new video is 1 minute. It's a short, it's 9:16. So one, I want that embedded instead of this one, but two, we need to talk to Betty or one of the designers, figure out how we're gonna make that aspect ratio work on this screen. So figure that one out and get that embedded because it's a good video and I need everyone to see it immediately. You?
And we still need a link to this one, just in the figure.
Yes. So yeah, move this video down lower. This is a more in-depth how it works video, but the short is a nice little attention grabber. Cool. Stop recording. All right. That will go and be shaved in the background. Thank you, YakShaver. Let's get into the sprint review. So it's always good to, what is it, dog fooding? So this sprint, we did our Chewing the Fat, which is where we gave our entire 100 people in our company access to YakShaver and told them, go nuts, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, hit us with any bugs you find. It was kind of a proper load test for the application rather than just the canary deployment, which we had already done with our carefully chosen people who we knew would be nice to us. So it was good because it included all the people who are never nice to us, which meant we got a lot of good feedback. And we've addressed a lot of the dramas that came up. Not that many dramas did come up, it was pretty smooth actually. But the things that came up we have addressed, so we'll get to those now. It was a full sprint for 3 people. Tom's still with you, Adam, which is why we haven't had him. I believe he's with you for another week next week, is that correct? Yeah, so we'll assume we get him back the week after that. All right, so.
Yes, he's in London.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, to get into the actual PBIs completed, let me switch views. Thank you, to here, because I think this is a nicer view. So these are the items that got done. So first up, we've got a product called Tina and a person called Tino, and those two were getting confused all the time. That's been fixed, and it's been fixed in a way that any name or product or project name will be identified more carefully and more consistently, which is great. Azure DevOps was creating items, work items, but it wasn't tagging them correctly. It wasn't mentioning them correctly, so they weren't getting emailed. That's been fixed, so now they get emailed when people who are mentioned now get emailed. The renew subscription failing, that was a pernicious bug that was basically every team's channel has to be consistently resubscribed to on a schedule, and sometimes that was falling over, so now that's more robust and that happens more consistently again. Okay, when you turn YakShaver off, but you record a video, it will still ask you if you want to process the video anyway, just in case you wanted to and forgot to turn it on. Sometimes pressing that process button wasn't working. A lot of the bugs that we found in our testing of the application before we gave it out were to do with that. So it wasn't a bug that people found because they weren't testing it while it was off. It was a bug that we found while we were testing it before we sent it out. But however, it should be noted that a lot of...
I'm not sure if this is related, but I think people were...
Say again? People were what?
I'm not sure if this is related, but I think people were saying that they couldn't tell which video was which, like they might have done two.
Yeah, no, that's a separate bug. Yeah, or a separate feature request. Okay. So yeah, we're aware of that, and that's in the next sprint. That will be tackled in the next sprint. Yeah, it's actually our sprint goal for the next sprint. So the next one is the error message. It was just the default Teams error message, which is, it encountered an error. So that has been fleshed out a lot, and it explains, ways to try and fix it and who to contact, and also what's the ID called?
The operation ID.
The operation ID, which allows the development team to find out exactly where the problem went wrong. So that'll make bug finding and easier troubleshooting a lot easier. We've made it fairly user-friendly. I think by the time we start getting a lot of non-SSW people using this, we'll want to make it even more easy to contact our development team. At the moment, it just says contact the dev team. It doesn't say how. So we might want to make it even easier and link to our Discord or something like that, which we'll probably do later. AI screenshot. So this, I thought we marked this as not done.
What about the figure?
The first frame is fixed, but the figure was not done.
We can change that in keyboard pretty easily.
Figure was.
So remember, we tested it. It was showing a video of me.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I guess they're related. So we had a problem where it was picking up a screenshot of the very first frame of the image of the video. And when you record a video from Teams, that isn't yet your screen share. It just shows like a placeholder slide saying who's in the meeting. That wasn't useful as a screenshot. So this has been improved, but we tested it and it wasn't fully fixed. So we do have a separate PBI that kind of explains what that drama is. It pushes the frame later in the video, but still not past the crucial first 7 seconds where Teams are still figuring its stuff out. So we'll fix that. The email does not contain the URL. So the URL was being sent, but sometimes it just wasn't consistent. It was a slightly wrong URL sometimes. Sometimes it didn't have HTTPS at the beginning as well. Those are both being fixed now. So the URL that it gives will be consistently the one that's in the screenshot. The video in, what's it called? Stream, Microsoft Stream, used to be renamed to the name of the PBI or of the work item, and that stopped happening at one point when we changed the order of operations. So we had to refix that. That's been fixed again. So now the video is clear what the video is about, as opposed to meeting with blah blah blah. By the way, Adam, stop me at any time if you want more details. So far, so good. Okay. So the users. Cool, thank you. I've sort of talked about this with a previous item, but the users sometimes got confused who it was talking about. We've made that a bit more consistent. What we're doing is we're injecting all of the organization, people, and project names into the first part of the prompt. So it has the transcript, and then it renames it goes through the transcript just based on what it thought it heard, compares it to who works in that company and what the projects are, and fixes the spelling and the most likely people. Sort of maps from what it thought it heard to what it is available. So it actually updates the transcript before doing the rest of the operations. This is a small one, just an error that we had to double check was fixed. So was that. So was that. And okay, so the leaderboard, when you're using it in mobile view, would sometimes the hash symbol wouldn't render for some reason. It was showing an ASCII set of characters instead of a hash. So Stephen had the idea to switch that for the hash emoji. So for instance, number of users is now an emoji instead of an actual keyboard hash. So that's everything that was done this sprint. Code coverage went down a little bit, which means we do need to keep that in mind. And because we did mention that in the last sprint too, we need to, as we're fixing things, try and make them more robust long term.
Yeah. We
had 9 production releases, which is fantastic. Basically, every time a bug was fixed, it was pushed. So can you explain the errors for me?
Okay, so on the graph, you can see there are a few fail requests, but there weren't any 500 errors. So 500 errors means there's an application error, but there's none of them. Most of them are 400 error, which is coming from the internet sniffing. So those errors were fine.
Okay, so five blah errors are a problem, 4 blah errors less of a problem. Okay. All right, so here's Adam. We talked about this before. The leaderboard. You can see the numbers are high, which is great. This is showing a month, so this does also include the CTF week, the Chewing the Fat week, where everyone had to do it. But you can see people like Caleb, Matt Wicks, Betty. They're using this consistently. They've used it, more than 10 times each, which is great. Rick's still ahead of me.
What the hell is Jimmy using it for?
yeah, 10 things. Yeah.
We have the accountant used it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I wonder. Well, actually, no. I received a couple of things.
Yeah,
from him,
he suggests a pricing change on the website.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
The wordings.
Yeah, he's just going around kind of, I think he's just a bit high on the fact he can now have access to all the backlogs. So it's good. I like it. These epic numbers have all reduced because I did a bit of a cleanup in the backlog to assign work items to epics when I thought that the link was missing. So that has increased the size of the epic. Also, all of these bugs were not in any epic. So we've been working on things outside of an epic at the moment. Bit of R&D. Okay, so what went well? We fixed a lot of bugs.
Just with the epics, I think we showed the prior epic and the current epic because there's no way of seeing progress.
The prior epic and the, say it again.
I think.
Oh, you've got the change. You got this here. The changes. That tells you the progress.
Oh, you're doing it that way now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, it takes up a lot of real estate. Otherwise.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, cool. So basically, we've said, it's feeling very stable. A lot of people got quick feedback when they reported an issue. It was fixed very quickly. It's just feeling pretty good, and it's working. In what's the word? Like the standard happy path, like the most likely paths that people are using the application is working very, very reliably. It's now edge cases where we're fixing things up, which is really cool. It was also very interesting to get the feedback from the digesting the fat. So after we got everyone to use it, we got them to give us their ideas. And I'm the product owner, and I wasn't aware that it would be such a popular request for people to be able to make changes to the PBIs or emails before they get saved or sent. That's something I thought would be, well, whatever, you just send a V2. But people don't want to send something off and then fix it. They want to fix it and then send it. And that's quite a popular sentiment. And it's a difficult thing for us to fix.
Surely that's just for an email. They don't care.
No,
but
yeah. So Anton, for instance, was very vocal about it. Because, well, one reason is that all the ad mentions get sent an email of the PBI at the statement it's created. But the second one is there's a PBI history. So even if you accidentally put something that's you're not supposed to say into a PBI and then you change it, there's a change history. So you can never delete the fact that you put that confidential thing in the PBI.
Right. Okay.
So it's rare, and I think that realistically they have other options. They can, if they realize they've done that while recording, they can just say, oh, cancel, and that'll fix it anyway.
They can delete the entire PBI and start again.
Yeah. So I do agree. Probably it's more important for emails than for everything else. But it was just interesting seeing how many people requested that.
Yeah, all right. I would prioritize it for emails, but not for PBIs.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. It's not in the next sprint anyway, but it's just something we've got in the backlog. Cool. All right. Excellent. Let's move on to planning. So
can I just ask, like, that chewing the fat indicated to me that 67 people tried it a lot, like they were using it a fair bit, and 44 people said it was great and 4 people didn't like it. Now, like, do you have any indication of that information from the stats? So let's just say that went out. Those numbers were the numbers by the public. Is there any way that you could capture any of that info?
I mean, the only info we have is how many shaves are being done. So I suppose a good indicator would be if a lot of shaves are done, right? That's if people keep using it, that's a good sign. Okay. We don't have any kind of sentiment.
But let's just imagine that one of the users signed up, tried it, tried it 3 times, and the 3 times none of those PBIs got in production. They didn't get created or they got deleted by the guy. We should be able to detect that info so that we can check with them. We can see that you didn't actually use one. What happened?
So do we have any way of tracking what happens to a work item after it's been created?
Not at the moment. That's something we need to put in.
No, a new user that didn't actually create anything. They've tried it out. Just try to think, like, there were 4 people in the company that didn't have a good experience. Could the stats show that to you at all?
Yeah, not at the moment, but let's shave that because I like that idea. I'm not sure how to solve it at the moment, but let's get the idea at least. So Adam, I'm going to actually capture you talking. Can you explain that one?
Sure.
Give me a sec. 3, 2, 1. New idea for YakShaver from Adam Kogan.
Okay. We just did a chewing the fat. It went to around 100 people. 67 people used it heavily or gave it good unshot. 44 people were successful and said they were very happy. Other people were in the middle, but 4 people said they actually couldn't get the thing going. So we need to have some way that you can see a new user got created. They attempted to use it, but they never actually got a PBI, or they created some PBIs and they got deleted. So let's just try to see if we can guess whether users are happy by they continue to use it, or they just got nowhere with it.
And if possible, we can use our own history from last week to see if that's the case, because we have the survey analysis of who was happy and who wasn't. And we can see if we can line that up to the data that we have and see if we could have identified those 4 people without them telling us that they didn't like it.
Well, to be clear, most people don't fill in surveys. So I was hoping that you could use the other data that got.
Exactly. But I'm saying in this case, we happen to know the 4 people who didn't like it. So we can look at the data we have for that week against them and see if that's indicative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, stop sharing. Lovely. All right, let's get on to forecast. So our plan for this next sprint, just the right sprint?
Yes.
Yeah, that was our sprint goal, wasn't it?
These sprint goals.
That and the link, right?
Yep.
Put that at the top. Okay, so these top 2 are our sprint goals. So that thing you asked for, Adam, getting when it says YakShaver, what is it? YakShaver video received shaving your yak now. It'll tell you which video. So ideally, that will be a link to whatever video it is, a hyperlink to the video that is received, which would be good because then they'll know, okay, yeah, that's that video, but I did 3 videos. Which one didn't it get, or whatever? And good for peace of mind for them. That was Matt Wicks who requested that, by the way, but I think 2 other people said something similar.
Yeah. Quite popular.
Yeah.
Popular.
Yeah. Also, another thing I didn't anticipate from the chewing the fat is how many Mac users don't like Snagit. PC users seem to be all over it, but Mac users seem to prefer the out-of-the-box screenshot application, which comes with a Mac, which is quite good apparently. So the problem with that is fine and can be used with YakShaver, but it creates .mov files instead of .mp4s. So we're just adding support for .mov files, which turns out is very easy to do because one of the tools we're already using can just convert an MP4 to a MOV. As an added bonus, that also drastically shrinks the file size. So we had a 25 megabyte limit of how big a file we can send to the Whisper API. So we're going to do this conversion to MP3 for our MP4s as well, which means we should now have about 50 minutes of available video for yak shaving, which drastically expands the use cases of what you can use it for. So that's really interesting. That's changed my whole mind about what you could and couldn't use YakShaver for. So watch this space for new features in that area.
Yuli, what is the tool that is converting the .mav file?
What is it?
FFmpeg.
FFmpeg. And what were we already using that for?
It was already using that to take screenshots.
Right. It was the thing we were using to grab the screen grabs for the screenshots.
Okay. And what was the talk about MP4 to MP3?
So at the moment, the videos that get created by both Teams and Snagit are MP4s. MP4 is video and audio, right? And MP3 is only audio, and Whisper only needs audio. So we're going to do the conversion to MP3, which will shrink the file down a lot, which will mean it's a lot fewer tokens for us to send into Whisper, but also allows us to potentially do much, much longer videos if we need to. So if you need to, especially once this becomes agentic and you want to explain an entire spec review document and have the entire thing turned into PBIs in one go, well, I didn't think you'd be able to do that, but now I do think you'll be able to do that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, cancel button not functioning correctly. This was about when you say you want to move to a different project and then you decide you don't want to. If you press cancel, it was just staying there. It wasn't clear from the UI what was going on. Even though it did cancel, it didn't kind of feel like it did. So we're going to fix that. So this is the figure. So the figure underneath the screenshot and the timing of the screenshot both need a tweak. They're okay at the moment. They're better than they were, but they're not good enough yet. So that'll be fixed.
Would there be a way, if you weren't happy, to have it regenerated?
As in,
So you've created
As in just add in
say
a
an
random
email.
seed and say try again.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? You could. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if you get great results. You would get slightly different results, but not necessarily. You could increase the temperature.
Yeah.
I don't know. That feels funny. Maybe we'll think about it. So updating the video on the website we talked about already, and now thanks to the new PBI, we now have support for tall videos instead of fat ones. This is the website itself. It's a small thing, but if I show you this, see that? You can see around the edges, you've got the white and the little sliver of black in the corners, would look a bit weird. So we just want that to be the same shape and size so that it's a bit prettier. At the moment, only some people in the team can edit the website, so we just need to open that up to everyone. This is from Matt Wicks. You may be familiar with it at all or already. If you use GitHub right now, you don't get any green contributions in your GitHub because it's YakShaver that is doing the PBI creation, not you. So we want to be able to transfer that provenance to the person who did the YakShaver instead of YakShaver itself. I believe we've already solved this with Tina. And also before that with our Gatsby rules stuff. So hopefully we can take those same learnings and do something similar.
I think it's shared, so both names go there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Which is fine.
I'm not sure, but I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds right too. But yeah, basically we're going to talk to the Tina guys, figure out how they did it, and do the same. Okay. So Easy Leave and Time Pro are using one repository, but two projects. Is that right? Or two backlogs in one project or something. But basically, there's a Time Pro / Time Pro and a Time Pro / Easy Leave. And at the moment, we've had to hard code it so that all PBIs go to Time Pro because we didn't have support for that kind of branching of multiple backlogs per one project. So we want to add that so that it works, because at the moment, the Easy Leave guys are just making PBIs in the Time Pro backlog and then manually moving it, which is a bit of a pain. And this is just Wixie had a problem where he tried to make a PBI and it sent an email, or he tried to send an email and made a PBI or something. So we're just going to figure out what happened there.
Okay.
That's our cunning plan.
I think that second last one can be deprioritized. It's not that important, but if it was easy, do it. But
maybe. I mean, anyone using Azure DevOps could be doing that, right? So, and it also means the Easy Leave team can't use it at the moment.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it is an edge case. You're right.
The other thing I'd like to put there is, a while ago I asked for, I think it was Brooke, to create a Discord group for YakShaver. So we start doing the support the same way that we do it in Tina. So I think it's important to create that Discord group, or to at least have, if once you get Discord up and running, so revisit that email that I sent a while ago. And then when people sign up in terms of new employees at SSW, they say they joined and they ask their questions there instead of to you guys.
Yep,
so just,
agreed.
Yeah, revisit that email and do it. And the other thing I'd like you to think about is, now it's so easy to report a bug. You can imagine scenarios where we just start reporting a lot of bugs, and you create a new problem that you're just creating bugs all the time, and people aren't able to look at them because the volume of bugs now is going to be larger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there should be some report that shows the number of bugs being created by YakShaver, and some indication that, very visual, that this is how many bugs you were creating before, this is how many you are now, and how much stuff are you getting done. So it makes it a lot more visible that you need more devs on your project.
So that would be reporting inside the work item tracking system itself, as opposed to inside YakShaver, right? Because you want. So, but that means we need that for every work item tracking system that we use. At the moment, that's only GitHub and Azure DevOps, but it's going to be Jira, Zendesk, Monday, Workday.
Yeah, right now, we just want to know those two. But I do think that you could be creating a brand new problem for an organization. That you are starting to create so many of these, and it's just so easy to create them.
It is easy to create them, and we found, for instance, when we got everyone to do it, that was it like 12 people all did the same error. There was a bug on the SSW website. The contact us button was funky, and like 12 people reported that same issue, which made 12 PBIs. So we do have a duplicate detection feature in the backlog, which would solve that. It doesn't solve everything you're talking about, but
Yeah.
it solves a lot of it.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the general idea that the company is generating a lot more bugs, and you don't want to feel, you don't want to
It might not
have
just be
no
bugs, by the way.
visibility.
It's often feature requests as well. Once people, for instance, Jimmy is not reporting a lot of bugs. He's reporting a lot of ideas. So yeah, which yeah, it's you've suddenly got more good ideas. Maybe you need more devs to implement them. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Should we save that? I'm not sure exactly how to implement it.
No, I wouldn't shave it yet. I'd just start thinking about it.
Okay, no worries. Top of mind. All right, well, this video will go up on here, along with all of our other ones. So, guys, thank you very much. Adam, thank you for waking up at ungodly o'clock and joining us. See you next week.
No problems. All
All
right,
right,
see
bye.
ya. Bye.
See ya.
Oh, hi. It gone so fast. Yeah, just letting you know, I will be on holiday for next 3 weeks. I was going to send you a message since you are here, so I'll just
Where are you going on holidays?
China for the Chinese New Year.
Oh, right. Whereabouts in China?
Wuxi.
Where?
Wuxi, a city close to Shanghai.
What, how do you spell it?
WUXI.
Wow. Near Suzhou. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to visit the office while you're there?
No, this time probably because last year I've been to the Hangzhou office already, and this holiday is quite short, so maybe next time when I go back home, I'll plan a longer time to visit the
Right.
office.
Okay. Be aware, if you do visit the office, you might be able to claim the trip as a tax deduction.
I might be what?
Able to claim the trip as a tax deduction.
Yeah. Okay.
But if
Last
you
time
don't
I
care about
didn't.
that, it's okay.
Yeah, last time I didn't know that. Okay.
Right. The other thing is we are doing our retreat in May, I think. I don't know exactly, but we're doing our retreat, right?
You mean Hangzhou
In China.
office?
Yeah, we're doing our brainstorming and retreat. Yeah, if you, next time, you should just ask, when is it? Because you could have joined it, because it's just,
Yeah, it's good opportunity. Yeah.
But yeah, if you're thinking about going, you should tell them that I'm thinking about it. What dates are the best? But if you don't care, then it doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah. Because this is spring
Wixie.
festival. That's why I'm going back.
Who lives in WUXI? Wishy.
Yeah, Wuxi.
Who lives there?
Sorry, you're breaking.
Who lives there?
My parents. And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Are you taking CC?
No, Cici not going with me this time, but last year she went with me.
Okay. All right. Well, you have time. You have fun.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. See you.
See you.
Bye.